England on a cruise and a tour next October. This has been exceptionally popular too. I've done presentations for a lot of our other clubs on this cruise, and it's selling very, very well. So I checked with the office the other day to make sure I had enough balcony cabins, and we do. So we still have plenty of cabins for you now, but actually Benny, that works with me, she's actually doing presentations on a couple of these tours today as well. So this cruise is great. It goes because it starts in Quebec City. People love Quebec City. It's awesome. We actually have a 2-night stay in Quebec City on this one because we're going to have a night in Quebec City, and then we're going to board the Norwegian Dawn, and we're going to do a 7-night cruise, but on that first night the Dawn is not going to sail. So we have an extra day if you want to get back off the ship and go into Quebec City on your own. You can do that because we're not sailing that first night. So that's a little bit of a plus there. The Norwegian Dawn just went through a multi-million-dollar renovation last year. So she is sparkling from bow to stern. So we're going to start in Quebec City. Again, we have the pre-night. We have a city tour of Quebec City, and we have dinner in Quebec City, and then we board the ship for 7 nights. We go through the St. Lawrence Seaway, the St. Lawrence River, and out to 2 ports in Nova Scotia, both Sydney and Halifax, Nova Scotia, St. John, New Brunswick, and the Bay of Fundy, Bar Harbor, Maine for Acadia National Park, and then down to Boston with some sea days in the middle. So this is a great itinerary to see some of these Canadian and New England ports of call. As I said, we have the city tour in Quebec City is included, so you'll have some time to have that done for you with a guide that you don't have to pay extra for. And again, we're docked overnight in Quebec. I can't tell you how much people love Quebec. When they go on this trip, they don't want to leave because it's so beautiful. It's so European and really wonderful. The old town is really fun to walk around and so forth. And then once we start on our cruise, we are going to be calling on these different ports with all kinds of things to see and do. Some beautiful things, some historical things. We run private tours from all of our cruises that we do, so we will be running private shore excursions on this cruise. They do come at an additional cost if you want them. If you don't want them, you can take cruise line shore excursions, or you can do things on your own. You can do as much or as little as you want. We do the shore excursions, and I think everybody that takes our shore excursions gets a little bit better value. They're always on par with what the cruise line offers them for, or a little bit less expensive, and they're far more personalized and inclusive. We do a thing in Halifax. We go down to Peggy's Cove. It's a beautiful day. It's very seaporty, and like you see here, and picturesque, and we do a lobster lunch down here. So that might be one of the options that you want to do. You might want to just spend some time on your own, see the changing of the guard at the Citadel, and also the Fairview Cemetery, which has about 120 some odd graves from the people, the victims from Titanic, when the Titanic tragedy took place. And then down to St. John, New Brunswick, and the Bay of Fundy. The highest ocean tides anywhere in the world are in the Bay of Fundy, and they are reversing tides. So Google it and read up about the Bay of Fundy. It's kind of interesting to read about this quite unique place here. The City Market in St. John is a fun place to poke around too if you're interested. And then on down to Bar Harbor for Acadia National Park. Beautiful scenery here, Cadillac Mountain, if the weather is good, if it's not socked in with fog. But really beautiful scenery here. We are hitting this time about what you would say like leaf foliage season, a little bit late. I mean, peak foliage season is the last week of September and the first week of October, but you can never predict that. I mean, as you know, it depends on rain and weather and all that kind of stuff. So we should have some fall foliage unless it all comes and goes before we get up there. If you don't want to go to Acadia National Park, you can just spend your time in Bar Harbor and just stroll around the quaint town and shop and eat some clam chowder in Bar Harbor, Maine. And even maybe eat a lobster. Just don't say your eyes. But you can have plenty of clam chowder in Bar Harbor, and really it's the quaintest New England seaport town you'd ever want to visit. So lots of choices there as well. So, if you look on the back of this brochure, I want to tell you a little bit about the perks that come with this cruise tour. First of all, with the pre-night in Quebec City, with the tour, dinner in Quebec City, 7-night cruise, and on top of that, we have a special promo that we have now in place on this that gives you unlimited complimentary beverages for your entire 7-night cruise. Now, that's amazing. That's up to $15 per drink, all for your cruise. And you say, well, I don't drink. Well, if you have been on a cruise and you drink a soft drink, you know, for $1.85 plus an 18% gratuity, that puts you back. And at the end of a cruise, I know if you're like me, I look at my bill at the end of 7 nights and I go, I cannot have spent that much money. But it does add up. So all the beverages, all the soft drinks, wine, alcoholic beverages, all free. You don't pay anything for any of it for 7 days. Bottled water is not included, but the other stuff is. And 4-night specialty dining package, including the gratuities on both of these. So that 18% is also off the table, so you're not paying a gratuity on those items either. Now let me tell you about the specialty dining. On Norwegian ships, if you're not familiar, there are 2 main restaurants. So 2 main restaurants, they're complimentary with open seating. No sitting with the same boring people for 7 days. You dine where you want, with whom you want, whenever you want, all week long in all of the restaurants. So you can make the cruise what you want it to be. So there's 2 main dining rooms. There's a 24-hour restaurant. There's an Asian restaurant. And there's the buffet restaurant. All those are free. They come complimentary with your cruise ticket. On top of that, there are specialty restaurants like Cagney's Steakhouse. There's a teppanyaki Japanese steakhouse. There is a Brazilian steakhouse. There is a French bistro and an Italian restaurant. All of those come either with a la carte pricing or with a set price like the teppanyaki restaurant is like $35 or $39 per person. Well, with these 4 nights out of the 7, you don't have to pay for those either. So you can go to Cagney's restaurant and have a great steak and not pay anything for it. Now, you can say you can go to the buffet in the regular restaurants all you want, and that is fine. But the caliber of food in these specialty restaurants, you'll definitely see a difference. So you have 4 nights free with the gratuities paid for that.